All right, because my camera is acting up, we're going to switch to this one. So this is a box from Sean at Ham Radio Dude Tested, HRD Industries. This guy right here is something separate. We can go ahead and get everything out of it first, including Hams R Us. Set that over there. All right, so this is a project that Sean's been working on for quite a while. It's something that it's gone through a few different evolutions. One was called the Hamstick Commander. It's gone by a few different names. And this is one that has gone into production recently. And he wanted me to go ahead and test out with M10. So these are M10 threaded plates. Got a few things in the box. Has the two plates, the center insulator or spacer, and one spike. I'm gonna go ahead and just get this stuff out of the way over here so we're not tripping over it. Now the rest of this is going to be small parts to put this all together. Ooh, we got the Ham's Gone Wild sticker too. We're going to put that right over here. All right, bits, parts, and pieces. All right, so first things first, these are nylon bolts that are going to go in between the plates. So we're just going to go ahead and back those out here real quick. Get those separated. Move camera here just a little bit so I can do this in front of the camera and know where I'm framed up. You know, got to be able to see things. Got a crazy squirrel over next to me here. All right, 4 nylon bolts, 4 nylon nuts. The 2 plates, this guy right here is going to be your coax connector with an adapter on top. I believe, to double check that one, I don't know if that one's M10 or not. We'll find out. So let's start with spacer. And I'm going to build this slightly offset because I want to be able to put spikes in the lower unit to be able to attach or to spike this into the ground a little bit more sturdy, I would say. Because the ground that I'm in here can be a little rocky, so it doesn't take a spike real well. There's the 4 bolts. I'm going to build this so it sits offset, just like this. Let's flip this guy over. I'm just going to secure these on the top plate here, just finger tight for the moment. You don't want to put a lot of pressure on these because they are nylon bolts and you can shear them. So just enough to cinch it down into place and hold it snug without it being too tight. Just like that. So there's the majority of the plate already. Next part is putting this guy on. So what you want to do with this is this is going to isolate this part of the connector from this plate. But you want to take one of these jokers, put in there, and get that started. So let's start that top plate, and there is our first hiccup. Now, is one of these plates 3/8 and one M10? No, these are all M10. So, did hit our first hiccup because these plates are all M10, this adapter will not thread in like normal. So I'm going to have to bore one of these out. Let me see if these others are 3/8. Okay. So, slight modification. These internal holes are 3/8. So what we're going to do is take the same connector. We're going to modify it to go like so. I need a spacer. Oh, let's see what's going to be the easiest way to do this. You know, read the instructions, idiot, is where I'm going with this one. Idiot being me. So yeah, I was on the right track. This piece has to go in one of these guys here. So we're going to take that, we're going to put it so it's down like so. So this guy will be actually like that. This goes through, and then this gets threaded into the plate. Okay, editor me from the future. Let me show you what I actually did, because I did make some changes after talking with Sean about this. I shot him a message or two in regards of how to get everything situated. One thing I was running into is that there is a plastic spacer right here, right there. It isolates this from the top plate. So what I was running into is the spacer that's used sits just higher than the ring. So what I ended up having to do is shave a little bit off the step portion of that spacer. I'll insert a picture to show what that looks like. But I had to take a needle file and just shave the top of that down just a little bit so it was actually even with the top of the ring, so I could get that ring to seat on here tight. It's not going anywhere now. I chose to solder them on and shrink wrap them. And then what I ended up doing was taking the bottom terminal and putting it on one of the nylon bolts, touching that bottom plate. So it actually sits right against the bottom plate, right there, and then comes off the body of the PL, or the SO239. This is finished now. I'm not going to make any more changes to it. I've tested for continuity across the entire plate. So we'll bring that guy in. Inside to outside, nothing. Inside to top plate. Outside to top plate. Outside to bottom plate. So everything is good as far as the connectivity. And then I'll go ahead and insert a video of just a quick look at how this looks with two whips on it here in just a moment. It'll go ahead and just be inserted in this video here. And then what I'll do is let the other part of the video finish up from what I originally filmed. Again, you guys, thanks for watching. Very simple. Grab a crimp tool, clamp them down. So, next part of this will involve 4 of those. Now these are designed to screw right in that top plate, which will connect to the center conductor of the coax. So you can have 2 antennas connected. So you could run 2 separate bands, 1 on each one. You could run 20 on this one and 10 on this one. Or you could add 2 more. And if you ran a base loaded coil in this one, you could run a 40, 20, lengthen this one out to where it would be 15. And if you had a 4th one, you could put a 10 meter one on the back side. So you have 40, 20, 15, and 10. Or you could even shorten it down further and run one as a 6 meter. So you could use your 40 and 20 as one antenna, 15, or do 40, 20, 10, and 6, which is what I intend to do at field day. Once this is all put together like this though, then what you'll do is take your threaded spike, this one center-wise is M10, so we're going to run it in one of the offset holes here. If I can coerce it into going in there, which I did just a second ago, but also if your spike doesn't go in, back up until you feel it click, and then try it. Okay, so this spike does not want to go in any of them. Which I've got M10 spikes, that's not a big deal. I've got 3 of them. So this spike, I'm going to have to figure out what thread is on that. If it's 3/8 or if it's M10. But short of putting the jumper from the top plate, outer shield to the bottom plate, and getting all that hooked up, that's the assembly. And then, like I said, next time we see this antenna, I'm going to have it out in the field, stuck in the ground, or on a tripod, depending on if I've got the right adapter for it. We'll go ahead and get it on the tripod and start making some contacts with it. I'm hoping to in the next week, even if I have to do it in my own backyard. I'll go out and set it up and make sure everything is working before field day, as you should with any antenna that you plan on using at field day. For now, we'll go ahead and say 7-3s. Thanks for watching. And if you found anything that was educational in this, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and leave me a comment down below. Definitely appreciate it. And we're looking to grow the channel to a grand total of 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year. And if we do, there will be a radio given away during the... got crazy noises going on. The radio given away at the end of the year. We're going to be giving away a Redivus handheld to someone who's a subscriber currently. So definitely appreciate it. You guys have a great day.